Hey man, how's it going? I'm gonna give it a few more minutes till people dive in, but I figured I know you're steaming about Noderocks at the moment, so I figured we would kind of break this up into like two sections almost, where you can talk all you want about Noderocks, but I wanted to get like through our long haul session first. How's that sound, man? Jack, you there?
Yeah, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, yeah. Did you
Yeah.
did you catch what I was saying though?
Yeah, long haul content, then we just run into some node rocks. And honestly, we just talk about whatever, man. Node
I'm
rocks are
I'm down for
flying
whatever. To
right
be
now.
honest, it's been too long. I know we both been busy, but it's been too long, man. Too
Agreed,
long.
agreed. No, I'm
Um,
looking forward to this. It has been a while.
yeah, for sure, for sure. So I guess people are just jumping in, so we might as well jump to it. Sup Zero, sup No Rocks, 402 Graphics, Brandon. How you guys doing? All right. So yeah, I figured we'd first jump into your journey into Stacks, man. How did you find Stacks, and what brought you in?
Man, that's been such a it seems like ancient history now, right? Um, well, I originally got into about 2017, and after back then on like Coinbase, you could get Bitcoin, you could get Ethereum and Litecoin, and that was it. And so I got a little bit of each, and I quickly realized how much fun Ethereum was. So I started using Bittrex and all these different things. Got just fell in love, and this is like right before the crash, right? So I'm just sitting there with all this beginner's luck. I'm like, I'm a genius. This is the greatest thing ever. And then I spend the next like year and a half getting smoked in the market.
That was me with Doge because I bought like early into Doge, and when it finally hit, I'm like, "Holy shit, I'm a genius!"
Right? But like,
no,
what
no, I had no
what
idea what I was doing.
what was cool was that I really developed a passion for it then, and I learned a lot. So when DeFi summer came along, uh, from that like May before DeFi summer to actually pretty much August 1st, I believe it was 2019. Now it's been so long. Um, I uh, I was doing a lot of options trading before all the exchanges got super cucked and you couldn't do things like BitMEX or anything if you were in the U.S. And I turned like $200 worth of Ethereum into like $30,000 worth of Ethereum. And then by July 31st, I had a Uniswap. Uniswap came out. I had a MetaMask, and DeFi summer was on. And I wound up getting ultimately wrecked. I mean, it was just so many rugs, right? Just rug after rug after rug. Um, Still was a novice in a lot of ways. So fast forward to I don't know about October of 21. A lot of people were talking about stacks that I knew. You meet people the longer you're in here, especially when you're doing the degen stuff and the telegrams and discords and everything. And at the time, stacks was like kind of hitting its all-time high, October 21 or so at that time. And I was like, man, looking at that chart, I'm like, this is going to go down, but it's worth learning about. And I just kind of filed it away. And by around March 22, I'm looking at the charts and I'm like, okay, yeah, it's really time to get serious and learn because looks like Stacks was about to start getting to where I want to buy. And as soon as I started looking into it, I was like, dude, this is Ethereum on Bitcoin. That's what it is. I mean, it was that simple. That's how I immediately recognized it. And because you could buy Bitcoin, but you couldn't do nothing with it. Everything you wanted to do was on Ethereum. And I was like, this is cool. So I really started learning. Um, Saw like a really cool ecosystem. The Stacks community was a lot smaller back then, and there's like some really cool people in there. I met you, I met Doc, I met Zero, I met all these just awesome dudes, and got
I,
involved with
I
the
think I
Stacks
think you meant
advocates.
Atlas.
Yeah,
I
yeah, what I said.
feel like I'm at you. I'm at Doc.
Oh yeah, yeah. Sorry, I'm trying to multitask. I suck at
No,
that.
no, you're
Um,
good. I was gonna join in off my account too, but it's just kind of a hassle.
oh,
So
believe me, I've talked to you and Atlas enough. I know the difference. I mean, one's a base, one's a tenor
we're
kind of thing, right? Like
we're
we
the
got
same
this.
color though. You know what I mean? That's all that matters.
But like, yeah, dude, it was a lot of fun. Started writing about it. Started doing the Stacks advocates. Learned a lot more. Got to see all these builders and meet all these builders doing cool stuff. And yeah, just like follow the entire bear market. And here we are today. That's kind of the short story, right?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, yeah, because I was gonna ask what the ecosystem was like when you jumped in, but you nailed it, man. It was small. I mean,
Yeah.
it was so small. It was almost like an everyone knew everyone sort of situation. You know what I mean? It was who was
Oh,
building what
100%.
where, and like. But now, like, I've just seen like I don't know. I've been here for about 2 years now, and I've just seen it boom. It's crazy how many new people we're getting in, how many new like BNS domain names I'm seeing. I'm like, holy crap, man. It's crazy.
Yeah. No,
It's
it's a completely different
it's a
story.
good crazy, but it's like, yeah, I don't know of everything going on like I should because like it's just been so busy and crazy, you know what I mean?
Oh, well, not just that, dude. Like now you're getting into all of these L2s coming online. Everyone, Stacks kind of front ran everyone with this, right? Because you're a Bitcoin maxi, you're basically like a Bitcoin Amish. That's what I call them. They just like they this is as good as technology ever is going to get, despite the fact that it's technology. But all other technology is bad, right? So like they
Right.
were never going to do anything with L2s. Stacks, beat everyone here, and I think it was Teflon who might have said, ETH was a test net first. He's the first person I ever saw say it anyway. And he was right, man. And everyone, we just kind of front ran everybody, right? And
Yeah.
and like now you can't keep up with it. I mean, if you have a job, if you have responsibilities, if you have a
Right.
girlfriend, like, and I know not most of the dudes in crypto don't have girlfriends. Like it's cool or whatever. Trust me, a lot of you dudes are gonna get some girlfriends. It's gonna be all right. But like if you have any other responsibility, you cannot keep track of what's going on right now because everything is just flying.
Right. Between like for me it's my full time job is an electrician, then I go to school on top of that, you know, have my daughter, have the animals, you know, and then I do this. So it's kinda I'm all over the place, man. And
Yeah.
I'm just keeping up where I can, when I can, how I can. And
No,
these
and that's
spaces
it. And
actually help
that's
me
a
out a lot.
that's a necessary ingredient of FOMO, right? So like people are like when you're in a bear market, no one realizes it or they don't understand how the market cycle works. And everyone's like, win marketing, win moon, dev do something, like all this stuff. And you're like,
Right.
no, bro, the best marketing is green candles, giant green candles. And if the overall sentiment is bearish for whatever reason, or there's not enough liquidity, it has to be an almost anomalous situation or like a very low cap thing that's probably just being pumped by like a hype group or something. You see that all the time on like
Yep.
BSC and Ethereum and even Solana now, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, or
but
even all those hidden tweet comments under everyone's tweets now,
yeah,
where they're like trying to just pump some random bullshit, you know what I mean?
right, right, and that's ubiquitous. But right now, the market sentiment, I'm not like an expert TA guy. I'm good enough at TA to know what time it is, basically. Um, but market sentiment feels a lot like we were in disbelief when Welsh recently kind of kicked everything off on Stacks about a month and a half ago. You remember when Welsh just shot through the moon like 50 mil market cap?
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
like I feel like after that, it became kind of a disbelief thing. Like, was that real? Everyone's got like some bear market PTSD and stuff, um, which is completely understandable, by the way. You have a whole new crop of people in crypto. I get to talk to a lot of people still, and even though I don't write as much, um, I get to talk to a lot of people, and the next generation's here. You got class of 22 here, and these dudes are going to represent. And what makes me happy is someone who is so enamored by crypto culture. right? Like, I love the culture. I believe that mainstream pop culture is garbage. And I think that crypto culture is the first true subculture that's mattered probably since the 1960s, in America at least. And I think that when you see people come in here and try to like co-opt crypto for the business world, or you see like the VC bullshit, like, and no hate on VCs. VCs have a very important role when it comes to like things like infrastructure. Like, you need dudes with a lot of money to build some of these things that we need to use, right? That makes perfect sense to me. But
Right.
I always worry that like crypto culture is just this irrational fear of mine that crypto culture is going to be co-opted and made false, because to me it's just like this, I don't know, it's just like this beautiful organic thing, right? And like these dudes coming up class of 22, they get it, man. I'm so excited to see these dudes in this
Right.
market right now, you know.
Right. Right. And even talking to like everyday people, I don't know, like in my area, crypto is kind of like it's not too big. You know what I'm saying? Everyone's kind of scared of it. Oh, that's not real money. What am I going to do with it? I can't even hold it in my hand, blah, blah, blah. Like, you just get all of this fucking nonsense from people who are just, who don't understand it, but at the same time aren't willing to learn. And I see that a lot too.
Yeah, well, I mean, you ever like get outside of crypto Twitter for 5 minutes and find yourself in normie Twitter? It's hellish. Most people just don't understand what time of day it is. You know, it's
Well,
like, oh
that's
well,
that's Facebook. So my normie Twitter is just Facebook,
yeah,
and I can't spend much time on there anymore.
no, and like the thing is, well, you can't hold it in your hand. You can't hold crypto. You can't hold Bitcoin. Can you hold the internet? Has anyone ever
Right,
held the internet?
right, right.
Yet you would say it's got no value. You know, that was kind of like Paul Krugman's thing back in the day. That useless shill. You know, it's nonsense. People aren't ready, and when I tell people they're early, they truly are early. I mean, there's
Yeah,
no getting away from that. This is what it looks like when 9 out of 10 people you talk to have no idea or just think, oh, that's a scam. Well, it's just because that's how early you are. It's literally that simple.
yeah, yeah. I mean, we're already starting to see slow. We're not seeing mass adoption, but like there's millions of people who use it. I'd
Oh
say
yeah,
that's a pretty big adoption.
yeah,
So
and it's only going to get it's only going to get bigger. It's going to become bigger out of as a matter of necessity. Um, I mean, the mainstream financial system, they're kind of out of rabbits to pull out their hats, right? Like, and now instead of having to have a worldwide depression or a Great Depression in the United States or something, people can literally switch to a currency before the garbage fiat they're in right now completely crashes and obliterates. It's like literally that's where we're at, and a lot of people they'll get it in time. The only good thing about the ETFs, as far as I'm concerned, is it lends some legitimacy to Bitcoin in the eyes of people who would not otherwise be able to recognize its use case. But if the TV tells them it's okay because some man in a suit and tie told them it was okay, then they kind of they get it at that point. But past that, most
right,
people still have no idea what's going on.
right. As long as the oblong box in the corner of the room tells you it's okay, then it's okay.
100%.
Yeah. Atlas, what's up? I know you've been dying to speak, bro. Figured you'd want
Man
to say
said
hi
I've
to
been
chat.
dying to speak, like I'm sitting there just bashing the button, like ready to go.
He is
Yeah.
so he's like
What's
he's
going
hitting
on,
it
man?
so hard right now, sweat
What,
dripping down his face.
Yeah. How's it
What's up,
going, man?
Atlas, man? How's it going?
Yeah, good, 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 good. Just enjoying having a lot of work to do.
No,
As
I
I think
feel
we
that.
all are. Yeah, yeah, as I think we all are. I see another two dons in there as well, Zero and Hero.
Yeah,
Oh
actually,
yeah,
we're gonna have Zero up in a couple of weeks. We'll talk about that at
yeah,
the end of this episode, though. I'll keep everyone updated what's going on
Yeah, but I
for
just
future.
just definitely agree with everything you said, Dick, as it feels like you've been in for an eternity, you know. Like
right,
I think that what we should do is encourage T.O. never to shave his beard in between bull and bear market cycles again. Um and just see how he comes out on the other end.
right. No, hundred
So
percent.
so yeah, it's definitely like been a bit of a roller coaster. I think just the crypto and Bitcoin in general has been like that, for for very many years. And I think that's because obviously, you know, dollar value wise, it is volatile in short-term periods. Um, so yeah, I think
But
like
to be
a lot of the
honest, a lot
excitement.
of a lot of markets are. I mean, the housing market's through the roof right now. Like houses are expensive as shit. No
Yeah,
one's
but I
really
think
buying.
what it is
Well,
though,
I
bro,
guess
is
people
that
are, but
the average investors that are coming into most other markets, bro, have a lot of different kind of, let's say, more easier to digest information that they're given. Yeah. Um,
yeah.
and the people that are coming into this market, remember, they're coming into new technology and a new market at the same time. So so yeah, bro, like in short-term periods, again, that's what I'm saying. In short-term periods, we could say that we see volatility, but over long-term periods, we already know that Bitcoin is probably like the least most volatile asset that you could buy at the moment. So what I'm saying is like you kind of seen. I think because of what happened with Ethereum over the last, let's say, two cycles, right, has kind of hardened a lot more people in the space. And this last class of 2020, 2021 are like, you know, they're starting to become a lot more hardened as well. But at the same time, they still kind of have created and still they've created and still kind of hang around a lot with like the milkers and everything else. And again, it's all part of the culture in the end of the day. But I think that a lot more people will have kind of learned a lot more about the space. And this next run, I think we're going to see a lot more things that we didn't even expect from it, because the new narratives are just popping up so quickly, like in comparison to like the last cycle. Like in the last cycle, there wasn't like a million narratives popping up like there is every single
Right.
day now. You know, like
Well,
it
well,
wasn't like that. There was a few narratives that went in, and obviously ETH L2s was like the main one, but you know, obviously NFTs came out of that, and everything else in this cycle is just, it's like there's a lot more stuff, you know, like going on in the space industry wide.
oh, 100%. I mean, just take airdrops, for example, right? Like, I think my first airdrop was Uniswap. I think you got what was ultimately worth $400 worth of the Uniswap token that they dropped to Uniswap users. Um, that was back when the PS5 first came out, because you had people selling their Uniswap to get a PS5, and like, yeah, the I think the next one was like 1 inch. But if you go fast forward to today, I mean, how many airdrops have you heard about in the last like 2 weeks? You know, and so that's part of speaking truth to what you're saying, that where, you know, it's just a lot different. They're trying to onboard people into all these new narratives, and not every narrative win, but the biggest narrative is L2s on Bitcoin, and it's going to make what happened on Ethereum and DeFi Summer look like a blip. You know, there's going to be everything. You're going to have millionaires minted. You're going to have people just getting rugged left and right. You're going to have, but it's all coming, and so that brings you to, you know, the other part of crypto that's very important to me, which is community, right? So like, if you kind of cover all your bases, you're in a position right now to probably to participate in what will probably be the biggest bull market that crypto's ever seen, and will probably ever see. That's all I'm looking at where we're at right now.
Hell yeah, man. Let's jump into a few more questions for you, and then we'll jump topics again. But so um, what are you hoping for in the future of Stacks? Like, what are
uh,
you hoping to see built? Obviously, everyone wants to see it, but like, what are you hoping built?
oh man, I think the things that's really going to see built on Stacks, that's going to be most important, is going to be the literal building blocks of the next iteration of the Bitcoin economy. When I look at ordinals, I see the very first iteration, right? So like, getting back to what we were saying before, when you're talking about, you know, what do you do with Bitcoin? Well, now people are using Bitcoin to buy digital artifacts, right? So, and it's a very good economy. I mean, you're talking about a couple $1 billion plus in terms of, you know, market cap on Bitcoin ordinals. That's impressive when you stop and think about that. But there's the kind of the boring stuff that needs to happen, right? Not just the degen stuff, not just the degen stuff's important because this is what pushes everything forward. Degens bring the liquidity. I know that the gigabrains don't understand that. God bless them, and I don't care. But like, that's the facts. They would not be in the space if it wasn't for degens actually bringing the liquidity to drive the gigabrains to make the next cool thing, right? So
That's exactly it too. You know what I mean?
yeah. So like, when you look at what stacks I want to see them build out like modern financial infrastructure that lets some family in some unbanked village have access to fair, real financial services based on a hard asset and not have to be just utilized as is in this horrible form of like fiat debt slavery, right, by a bunch of central banks. And I think that like that's what Stacks is going to do a lot of. I think they're going to do the building blocks that lead to the growth of the Bitcoin economy into its next generations. I think that's all of the cool stuff, all of the art. If you want to talk about the degen stuff, the Stacks maps, you look at the S ordinals, you look at all of these things popping up, going to be awesome. Going to be a lot of fun. Going to be a lot of opportunity there. But the important stuff is going to be in the financial sector, 100%.
Oh, for sure, for sure. So, do you have any advice for those looking to start building on Stacks? I mean, it's almost like you kind of answered that like just before this, but at the same time, it's a question and it's more of a direct, like.
Yeah, 100%, man. So like, okay, one of the things when you get back to crypto culture and mainstream culture, one of the things we have to like deprogram ourselves of is this idea that you need permission to do something. Okay, now this is shout out to Zero Authority DAO, to Zero and Hodl Stacks, because these guys really elevated me very early on in this game. But that's the truth. If you like this, like, you can't go to college to do what we do here. I mean, you can go study some bullshit, but it's not going to necessarily translate into what's being built here yet. If you want to do this, do it. Use your unique talents, learn, use your skills, do it. Find like-minded people. Okay. Stacks in general, they have different grants. They have different avenues to explore. You have like the Bitcoin accelerator. You have the pre-accelerator. There's so many different options, so many different tools. You just get in there, find like-minded people, and get to work, because this is a whole new world that we're trying to build here, right? Like, when I think, I grew up pretty cool time. Like, I didn't use the internet till I was like 17, right? So I got to have an analog childhood, digital adulthood, and I've seen how much things have changed in that short period of time. And to me, when I'm using Bitcoin and when I'm using Stacks, when I'm using these different apps, I feel a lot like, I don't know, circa 1998, 1999 internet, in terms of like Google and Yahoo search and all of these different things. So you have time to make an impact, but the quicker you get at it, the more likelihood you have to hit a home run, because you're not gonna come out the gate and get your home run, more than likely, whether you're trading, whether you're collecting, whatever your time frame is on your investments, whether you're building, you're gonna have setbacks, you're gonna fall on your face. All of that's okay. You get up, you dust yourself off, you get back to it, because you're still in prime time. 10 years from now, we have this conversation again, everything's gonna look totally different. If you look at how much things have changed just in this last year, since we were doing spaces like this with like 5 people in it, right? Because no one was even paying attention to Stacks, barely paying attention to crypto, with some, harebrained influencer telling everyone to buy SHIB or whatever the hell was they were shilling at the time. Like, as different as it looks now, imagine what that's going to look like 10 years from now. So just do it. Just do it. You go right there to Zero Authority Dial and go find people to help you work on stuff immediately. That did not exist 3 years ago. That didn't exist 2 years ago. Now you can do it. So go get it done.
Exactly, man. So I have a couple questions, and I had to move these to like the bottom of my list because I knew this would be what you really wanted to talk about. So, what are some of your current favorite projects, and what projects are you working on? And yeah, I think that's I had to save those for last. You can see why I had to rearrange that.
Oh yeah. Well, 100%, man. You know, when Ordinals came along last year, around this time last year, yesterday was a honey badger's birthday. Um, Actually, that was my first Ordinal, honey badgers, and the Discord immediately made sense because this was a group just like the Telegrams I'd been in the past of like pure crypto dudes. I'm like, all right, this is awesome. These are my people, right? So and if you remember when I did that very first podcast, I believe I gave you and Nat each a honey badger. I gave everyone that panel a honey badger.
I still
Yeah,
have mine. I
yeah.
refuse to like sell it or anything because it was a gift from you. So I still have that. It's in my wallet.
And like it was so. I mean, honey badgers. You know, actually, they're always cooking something. And you've got honey badgers doing some really cool stuff on STX right now. So always pay attention to the honey badgers. Anytime you get a group of degens like that together, and OGs and gigabrains, you're going to see some cool stuff happen. Um, the thing that's taking up all my time right now is Noderocks, obviously. Um, and it's a strange story how it happened, but it's probably the coolest thing I've ever got to be a part of in crypto by far. And do you know like how it started, Doc?
No, not at all. I didn't even look into it because I was kind of waiting to hear it from you here. So
So it was pretty fun. Like I woke up one morning, the first thing I do, check the Discord. I see some badgers in the alpha chat minting. I always try to see what's being minted, if there's anything worth going to get. And here's this Node Rock mint going on. So I go and I go mint one, go start brushing my teeth, everything, getting ready for work. Literally, that's how big of a DJ I am. I just open my eyes, check a Discord, go mint something before I take care of any personal bodily function or anything, right? Like that's who I am. But like we so I'm watching it, it mints out. It's a pretty cool collection. I was happy because the first thing I minted was kind of a grail. It was like this diamond rock. It was really cool looking. I was like, this is pretty sweet. Um, Go check out the Discord. And everybody here probably is familiar with kind of that whole thing. You check out the Discord, see what's going on. Not seeing a whole lot from the dev. About 12 hours later, you're starting to see that FUD come in, right? And everyone knows the kind of FUD. Like show of hands, like how many people have bought rugs before? I bet you, all you DJs have, right? So like
yeah,
you see that like FUD coming in the Discord, and like the creators are really not around. And so the price had gotten pretty high. Well, I mean, relative to the mint price, and so I'm like, okay, I'm gonna grab a few more and just see what happens. Take advantage of the sentiment. So I grabbed a few more, and just kind of went about my business. And by the next day, like still, like now it's just like heavy FUD in the Discord. No, but nothing's happening. People are freaking out. People selling. Oh, this is a scam. This is that. Everyone knows. Everyone knows that. And but I happened to notice there was like a handful of dudes in there who were just like seemed pretty solid, just right there in that moment. And I put out a statement like, okay, so now we're starting to see a core community get formed. These are the dudes. And later that day, I can't remember what really hit it off, but like myself and like that handful of other dudes were like, look, yo, this is Bitcoin. Nobody owns a smart contract here. Let's just do what we want with this. Like, let's just do it. And a couple of people from the peanut gallery chimed in or whatever, and I told them, I'm like, look, man, this is Bitcoin. Do what you want. You can sell, you can come do this, but we're making another Discord. We're making another Twitter. We're gonna actually do something with this project because this is a cool project. These are cursed ordinals. Right before this minute out. Well, I'm sorry, right after this minute out, there would be no more cursed ordinals. There was an update called the Jubilee, and now there's no more cursed ordinals. There's like 472,000. That's all it'll ever be. And like, not only are these cursed, but every node rock, if you look out on your Xverse wallet, you have two inscriptions. So you've got the actual positive and the cursed, right? So you call those a yin yang. So these are cool. Like, why waste this? This isn't some ERC bullshit contract. This is Bitcoin. Well, let's do this. And that's how it started. And it was, dude, it was hard. Like, if I wasn't, if that core community at that time, if these dudes weren't absolute chads, it never would have succeeded because it took everybody's skill set to make this work. We had traits that were not properly done for the collection. We had to like have people who with dev skills help us get these traits right. We had to deal with exchanges on a high level and do something that isn't really done and have like socials changed and traits updated. So like we had all of these dudes from like the ordinals community, even from like these different exchanges, like so many people helped. And it really resonated with me, and it really reminded me a lot of like what the Welsh community has done with Welsh. Like every STX OG in here, no, Welsh was worthless. It was just sitting there on exchange, not doing anything. Those dudes took it and made something awesome. And so like that's what we wanted to do. And like, well, it's a pretty small group. I mean, I could probably share a little bit of alpha with y'all. I don't think y'all will gonna mind.
No,
Um,
not at all, man. Actually, no. I love hearing about people's stories and journeys and stuff. And you've been a really good friend of mine for like 2 years now. And we met through what? Stacks Advocates 2 years ago,
right?
about
Yeah,
this time.
yeah.
So like, no, man. Anytime you want to share something, feel free. Um, by the way, who's 402 graphics down there?
He's one of the chads, man. Like that
Okay,
dude.
cool. We'll bring him up soon because I seen him going ham trying to request to get attention. So we'll
No,
bring him up soon.
we've got some absolute studs in this group, man. And like, so the alpha is, you know, not only are we going to be doing some cool stuff with art, not only do we have a feature for our holders where they're going to be able to stake, and get stuff going to be released to anyone else. This is for stakers and node rock holders only. But we're working with a Bitcoin L2 to bring some really cool shit. So there's going to be some airdrops and stuff coming up that y'all aren't going to want to miss. And so how's that for eliminating sell pressure, right? Like how's that for making something sustainable? How's that for, building something of value, right? Because if the community brings value to the project needs to bring value to the community. That's the symbiotic relationship you have to have.
Exactly. Because if you're not bringing anything to your community, why would they even want to buy it?
Yo, bro, your mic's gone a bit crazy.
Oh, I said, yeah, that's exactly it. Because if you're not bringing any value into the community, why would they even want to buy in the first place?
Yeah, so like I believe that Bitcoin L2s is the biggest narrative, right? I think I made my case for that. And ordinals are a massive narrative. Okay, so when I was minting those honey badgers a year ago, and I was paying like $11 a piece for them, and the fees were like, I don't know, $2-3. It was nothing, right? Um, Obviously, as ordinals become more uh, expensive due to not only just the price of Bitcoin, but the price of the fees associated with minting and inscribing and so forth. We're going to find ourselves in a situation where ordinals are going to become almost like their own curio in a way. People love collecting things anyway, so I'm super bullish on that. But then when you realize like there's probably going to be a point where there's a lot fewer ordinals being minted, That makes me bullish. That makes me bullish on ordinals as an asset class, right? So I think that when you have a project and you can then take two very powerful narratives right there and put them together, you got some secret sauce that no one else has. And then when you take and look at the other things we want to do, like I said to someone earlier, um, okay, so when you think NFTs, tell me some of the what's the NFTs you think of immediately? You think of punks, you think of peppies, you think of apes, and you also think of rocks, right? Well, the rocks are the odd man out because those rocks don't make a very good PFP, do they? We have a
I think mine's pretty good.
extraordinarily
Not gonna lie.
no, exactly. I'm talking like just the old school Bitcoin and ETH rocks, just that one that's just a picture of a rock that people sell for like $1 million in a bear market. I mean, in a bull market, right? Like the actual Nat'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Um, but Node rocks capture that perfectly. We're the first rock that can be a good PFP. And if you see the memes that these dudes make, like it is highly memeable. So we also have, when you get away from the just of the DeFi part of this, when you get away from the ordinals as a asset part of this, and then you go to the creative part, right? So that's why we got all these artists and musicians and people like that in our community because they're chomping at the bit to make awesome Node Rock content. So what I see here in this collection, in this community, is something that I'm just insanely bullish in. We're going to be able to kind of hit it from all sides and show people how it's done. When we first did the community coup, I kept telling people classes in session, and I meant it because I believe that we're gonna do this and we're gonna do it well, and people are gonna be inspired by it, and people like what we're doing in all of those respects. But then the most secret sauce of all of this and the longest term vision is community. Okay, so when you get in a community, you level up. You get around people who are better than you. It takes that hard crypto learning curve and it knocks it down tremendously. Community is huge for that reason alone. But when you look at the future of Bitcoin, when you look at the future of crypto, it is going to be about community. If you look at this just absolute, and pardon my language, clusterfuck of like European, United States, just government, just the nation state where it's at right now, and then you read something like the network state, you're like, wow, that makes sense. I can see that happening. Crypto communities are going to be the basis of real life communities. For I might not live to see this, but my kids will, my grandkids will, and that's enough for me. But like the community part of it, man, that's got value in and of itself that's very hard to quantify because this is a group of people you can discuss crypto with in a world that where most people are still worried about transvestites on models, right? This is the real stuff. These are the people I want to bounce my ideas off of. These are the people that I know understand what needs to be done and help level me up, and I'm going to help level them up. And so we have all of that. We have every single base covered, and you absolutely cannot fake that. You cannot manufacture it with some, marketing, graduate from some state school that you hired because you're trying to figure out how to get your way into some of that sweet crypto money. No, it ain't gonna work, Jack. This is how you
Right,
do it.
right.
So
And everyone and every individual always has their own strengths and weaknesses, and that's what's good about building a solid community. You know what I mean? Because you might not have that person that you might not have like the person you need to do something, but like someone in your community actually knows how to do that and can help you with it. Like you build like such good friendships and bonds and stuff, and
yeah,
it's just
and
I honestly, if it weren't for the community, I would have already bounced from crypto.
right, and that's the whole thing, man. Like we literally unrugged a project, and that was a community effort. I could not have done that by myself if you gave me 10 years and a budget. I couldn't have done it. It took a community effort, and we did it in a month. And so I believe that we have an elite community already. And I think that we're going to continue to draw like-minded people into this community. And as far as I'm concerned, the sky's the limits. When we're sitting here I haven't checked the market cap recently. We broke like four all-time highs today for this collection, just today alone. So I don't know what the market cap is right now, but it was like 250,000 on Monday, right? And so here's a lesson for people who might be pretty new that served me well. Um, there used to be a podcast. It was the first crypto podcast I ever listened to back in 2018 or so, and Crypto Dale was on it. And they'd bring some guys who are all kind of legends now. And one day, Crypto Messiah was on there. Messy. He barely even shows up these days. He doesn't have a public following on Twitter anymore or anything. But they were talking about trading, and keep in mind this is back when the market was a lot smaller, and they were talking about trading shitcoins basically. And he was like, my sweet spot is like 60 to about 120K. That's where I like to get in on a meme coin back then, which makes sense because that's when your risk reward is very high, right? Because if you're going to lose, you're probably not going to get rug pulled right then. Back then someone probably would have rug pulled you before they got to that market cap. And so then you have a good chance of getting a good return. And here we are now. Bitcoin's a massive market cap, just insanely massive, coming out of a bear market, right? Back in the day, if Bitcoin hit 200 billion in market cap, times were good. I don't know, what is it right now, 800 billion or something? It's insane. And we're sitting here with a unrugged collection where the market cap was $250,000 on the precipice bull market. You tell me that's not gonna fuck. I want to pardon my language, but you
No,
tell me.
dude. All my spaces are uncensored. I don't believe in censorship. So like I don't,
No, so like
like I don't give a fuck.
no, and that's just the reality of where we're at. You know, I try not to cuss too much. I try not to ruin my witness, but man, I'm so pumped up, and crypto is just my biggest deal. Outside of my family and my faith.
100%, man. 100%. Hey, do you mind if we open up the mic for a little bit to some of the community? I know we had some people chomping at the bits, and I'm down to keep this open for as long as you want to run tonight, Jack.
Yeah, man, I'm straight. Let's do it.
Okay, let's go. All right. I'm gonna invite up 402 graphics, but anyone else who wants to speak, feel free to request. Fucking bullish on the space tonight.
uh, get Zero and Zero and
Yeah, yeah.
Hero on here too, man.
Yeah. Oh,
Those dudes are.
before we open up to everyone, I did want to say in 2 weeks there will be another long haul space, and we're gonna actually be having Zero on. So make sure you chime in, keep tuned in for that for sure. I invited you to speak, dog. Where are you going? Oh, add a speaker. We got Pro 2 graphics. Sweet. All right. All right, man. The mic's open.
Yo, can you guys hear me all right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I haven't really got much to say than congratulations to everyone and good job on making sure that we stuck together and got this shit done. Because I was actually one of the first people to fucking mint this project. Me and Old Lord were sitting at his house when there was 9,970 available Noderocks to mint. And Old Lord's like, hey man, check out these fucking rocks. They look like monkeys. They're probably gonna pop. And I'm like, yeah, okay, sure, fuck it, send it. So we bought like 40 hoodies each. And then I ended up just giving him my hoodies because I was like, yeah, we'll see. Next thing you know,
Man, maybe he'll give you some of those hoodies back. Look,
he actually just DM'd me. He's like, yo, do you want a hoodie or two back? I'm like, damn, all right, bet. But I mean,
Yeah.
I'm still holding rocks. Like I've been holding rocks this whole time, boys. I'm free Toshi in the Discord. I don't know if you guys
man.
So
Yeah.
and because I've been talking about Noderocks for a while now, yeah, to these people. Like, Ordinauts are involved. I know Steve Harvey's got like 40 rocks. I know Maisie Sports had a bunch of rocks. I know Dave Kibo's got a bunch of rocks. And these are all like pretty big names in the community. So
Yeah,
it's
man.
like pretty cool.
No,
There are
like
a lot of people.
we couldn't have done it without like a support from a lot of people. I mean, it's just straight up, and I'm glad they recognize the value of what we're trying to do. You know, and it's been awesome.
And I mean, a lot of the initial burst to actually buy the rocks sort of started from what me and Lord were doing, where we were just printing fuckities and golds and whatever. We didn't know what diamonds were at the time. We didn't see any, and we fucking didn't mint any of them. Because how the fuck are we supposed to know? Right? It's not like there was a rarity chart up or any way to know. We were literally, what I was doing was we were hitting next on Ordza, and I was just writing down the numbers of all the hoodies and just on a piece of paper handing them to Ordlord, and he would just fucking go mint them. That's
Man,
how we
what
so we were
killed
cleaning up.
what killed me was the cliffs on that initial dump. I'm just passing by cliffs. I'm trying to get diamonds, right? Like I think that's the
Bro,
best one.
how the fuck was I supposed to know what a clip was? We saw it and we were like, "What the fuck is this thing? Oh,
Right?
it's ugly. Skip it."
Exactly.
Kill me, bro. Kill me. Anyway, um, after like Oddlord fucking filled his bags, I'm pretty sure he sent a DM to like the Alpha Cartel, and then
Yeah.
like next hour, we did this at like 9 a.m. Keep in mind, by like 1 p.m. the bitch was minted out, and we were just like, "Huh?" We were like, "Wait, what's up? What's going on?" All right, bet. And then we saw the initial all-time high, and we're like, "Hey, let's go!" And we held. We didn't fucking sell anything, and that bitch went straight to zero. And we're like, we rogued?
Yeah.
We rogued. All right, bet. And then Ordler was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna throw all this shit in my wallet and forget about it. And I joined the Discord, and I like wanted to get involved with the community and see what we could do, because all this talk about arguing it and fucking starting from zero, I was like, I'm new to this shit. Like I haven't really fucked with NFTs at all. You gotta understand,
Right.
like I faded it for like 7 years, and then Ordlord, who's my brother, was like, "Hey man, you should probably get back into this shit with Bitcoin." And I'm like, "Bro, all right, fuck it, I'll give it a look." That was 3 months ago. I have since been cooking, my boys. I have been fucking chefing it up in this bitch. And no, this place is pretty cool. Cool communities, lots of interesting projects. I've never really used X before either. I started using that 3 months ago. I feel like
I didn't, dude. I faded NFTs for the longest time too. For a while, I just didn't get it, and then you're like, oh yeah, okay, so this is digital ownership. Like these actual NFT contracts have use case. This is pretty cool. And then once ordinals came about, it was like, yeah, this is like being early to Bitcoin for a second time, right?
exactly.
So yeah, people who faded ordinals, the FOMO that they're going to have coming in during the cycle is going to be something to behold.
Yeah. The only reason I got into ordinals over NFTs is because of of how this. You know what? This project is a great example as to why I chose to go into ordinals over NFTs, because ETH NFTs can literally go to zero and be worthless, right? You're just getting, what are you really paying for? You're getting a goddamn link to a JPEG. Congrats.
Right.
You own nothing, right? At least with ordinals, you are owning the SAT. You actually do have that JPEG saved somewhere that you can access. It's not just linked to a server somewhere that could potentially go down and you're fucked, right? There's a lot more ownership ordinals over ETH NFTs. And this project is a great example of what that actually means, right? Because if this happened on an ETH contract and that bitch went to zero, nobody would have done anything. Nobody would have even fucking tried, right? But
No,
here,
so check
we
this
own
out,
our
dude.
shit.
Right. So check this out. The Stacks OGs will know exactly what I'm talking about. Minotauri. Minotauri was this just awesome digital art. Like it's great NFT on Stacks. And I was super bullish on them. I own like 60 of those son of a bitches. Right? And right. And like the ass clown Bacchus rugged. And as he was rugging, we were like begging this dude in the Discord, like, look, just transfer ownership to the contract. We want to keep this thing going. And he wouldn't do it. And yeah, you're right. That's you're
because
100%
he rugged
right.
a whole nother project at the same time. It was the crypto turtle ninjas or whatever, the turtle ninjas, the
Right.
those things.
and like exactly. And you couldn't do anything about it. But Bitcoin's not that way. And so you're 100% right, brother. That's exactly what we did. And you couldn't have done it on ETH. You couldn't have You couldn't do it on STX, to be honest. Not in a smart contract. S ordinals are different, but couldn't have done it. Yeah, 100%.
And that narrative, that story, I think, is this the first unrugged BTC project to be successful?
I don't know for sure, but what I can tell you is I do not know of any project that's unrugged itself. Period.
Okay.
Period. Like we
Yeah, that's
just
fair.
showed up trending on Magic Eden a month after a rug pull. That doesn't happen.
That's
You
true.
know.
That does not happen. I've got some Audi shrooms if anyone wants to buy. They're about $2. Anyone. That shit went straight to fucking zero, and I don't ever see them recovering. Whereas Noderocks, right, the community, the push to bring this bitch back, sick, man. Fucking mwah, chef's kiss. Congrats to everyone again. I'm gonna jump off the speaker, let anyone else talk, but that's all I wanted to say.
Yeah, thanks, brother. Thanks for being so real, man. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, man. Hero, what is up?
Yo, what's up, guys? Hey, Jack. Welcome back. Good
Man,
to have you.
the legend himself, man. How you been? You always
Hey.
busy.
Yeah, good, good. Yeah, just preparing the vote for you guys, So hope next week we can all start voting because without voting, Nakamoto is not gonna happen. So we better come out to vote.
Yeah, so that's right. So like for those of you who aren't familiar with STX, it's decentralized. There's no CEO. It's not a software company. Um, for any changes to be made to the chain, community has to vote. So the Nakamoto protocol is a big deal. Been writing about it. He was writing about it all last year, right? Like basically you're going to have STX operating at a much, much, much higher speed. And there's a very complicated group of reasons why it happens, but basically the simple explanation is that you'll be able to determine if your transaction needs to be recorded on a Bitcoin block immediately or if it can wait a minute, right? So um, but that won't happen unless people who hold STX don't vote on it. So yeah, thanks for the reminder, man. That's important.
Yeah, yeah. Here we do take governance pretty seriously. So we don't want any single person or entity have too much say and sway on the protocol. And that's why we do this kind of stuff. And the steps allow us to ensure there are checks and balances. And all the STX token holder have the rights to express their opinion. If you think Nakamoto shouldn't be activated because you think something is not right or it doesn't address the things that it set to address, then you should vote no. But if you think it's good, then you should vote yes. And at the end, we'll tally the result, and hopefully, we'll get more yeses than nos. And if we get over 80%, which is a pretty high bar, to be honest, but that's why we do want to set high bar. It's not just like 50%. We want like a majority to say this is good to go, then we will get the changes in. So yeah, but yeah, thanks, Jack. You explained it pretty well.
Thanks, man. That's what I do. I let you smart guys deal with the details, and I just try to make it dumb it down just enough for me to understand it. So it tends to
So,
work well.
so I'm gonna give a quick introduction to Hero real quick. For those of you who don't know him, Hero Gamer actually started in the Stacks Advocates around the same time or a little bit before me, Atlas, and Jack all were in there. And to kind of show proof of how decentralized this was, he kind of just saw things just kind of sing around and he kind of just took hold and he started like running the SIP calls, which is stacks in. I always mess it up. Here, it'll help me out.
Improvement proposal.
Yeah, stacks proposals. So he kind of started heading up those calls to kind of get like bring more awareness to it and get more people involved, which was a huge initiative he took upon himself. Like full hats off to him. He's an OG in stacks and he has shown us the way.
And that's again, that's decentralization. That's what the word means in practice. Just like community actually means something in practice, that's exactly what Hero demonstrated with that. It's decentralized. Okay, doesn't matter if Dev's dead. Doesn't matter if Dev's rugged. Doesn't matter. Decentralized. You do what you want. You make it work. That's cool.
Yeah, I mean, to be just to clarify, like there was also part of like there was just a hole in the ecosystem that actually drew the biggest brain of all had this blueprint of how we could have all these checks and balances for governance, but it was not at that time executed. So you know, I saw the gap. They kind of need someone to fill the gap, and we kind of connected and say, okay, this is something worthy of doing to make sure we have the uh, review process in place. So yeah, I think it was part. I think it was both ways. It wasn't just like me came up with a random idea from out of nothing, out of thin air. You kind of need to observe the system a little bit, see what's up, and see what gaps are needed, and you can literally just go and fill those gaps. And then at some point, maybe people will notice you, people won't. So, but yeah, I think it's hard to expect like everybody get a job before you do something. You kind of do need to do something before you kind of have trust from people. That's what I would say. But yeah, I think by doing things prior to that, it helps people to just build trust in me, I guess. And then that helps me to take it to the next step to really carry out the actual implementation of the governance work. So yeah, no, I enjoy very much, and I do appreciate that.
And Hero, am I correct when I say you're like a Bitcoiner? Like you
Oh
came to
yeah, I'm total
Stacks because of
Bitcoiner. Yeah,
Bitcoin.
a
Yeah.
big Bitcoiner. Yeah, I think I shit coined around, like 2 3 years ago during all the hypes. I did Binance Chain, Solana Chain, Luna Chain. I fucked myself up in Luna, so I shit coined all around, and then realized all these stuff are just they're risky. Not like they won't work, but there's nothing more and I guess I'm more conservative after realizing that after getting burned a little bit myself. I realize I'm more of a conservative person, and I think the most safe bet that you can do in crypto is Bitcoin. And but what is the thing that's sort of the next safest bet? I think it's anything around Bitcoin, which is what where Stacks comes in. Like we kind of know in 50 years time, Bitcoin won't go away, right? It's gonna be here. You cannot say the same for Luna, obviously that blew up. You cannot say the same for EOS. You cannot say the same even for Ethereum. To be honest, if we're talking about 50 years, so I think you can say that Bitcoin, and for me, that's a nice little safe harbor, I guess. And Stacks is a relatively safe harbor too, compared to many other chain. But if you want to do your research, and you can probably find a safe one in the top 100, but I'm just like tired of like trying to research all this different chain and trying to guess which one's gonna be here, which one's not. And I just take the simple route saying, okay, the safest is Bitcoin. The next safest is something around Bitcoin, and Stacks seems like a pretty good one and practical one that there is incentives building with SCS token. um not like trying to be altruism. I don't believe that. It's just like everybody do lightning, and everybody um trying to get paid with one STX fee or something. You're not going to make any business cases when you're just earning one sat per transaction. That's not a business model. Um but, but anyway, so yeah, no, I'm a big Bitcoiner, and I hope everybody come back to Bitcoin, and I believe things will be built on Bitcoin. Um, but yeah,
Doc, you disappeared, bro. Where you gone?
Oh,
You're
no,
muting
my
and
bad. I was
responding, bro.
just I was just listening. I kind of like I think Hero basically wrapped it up there.
Zoned
Yeah,
out
no.
buying Noderocks, bro.
Yeah.
Trying to look for cliffs, bro.
Yeah, so not financial advice, but buy some Noderocks.
Man, look, I tell you what, like everyone likes to say that not financial advice stuff. Like, dude, if you want to like take advantage of one of the best risk rewards in the ordinal space, get a node rock. If you want to be in a good community, get a node rock. If you want to take advantage of exclusive airdrops, get a node rock. Do what you want. Degen responsibly. Like if you're in this for a while, you learn, what works best for you. But at this particular part with the market cycle, with ordinals being a year old, right? If you don't have any ordinal exposure, get some. I think that leaving yourself out of that narrative is foolish. And then once you decide to make that choice, you have to then look at what makes for a good ordinal collection. Anytime you mint something, you have a chance of something going terribly wrong. Um, some mints, you're not worried about rugging. You're not worried about like Trevor's Ninjas rugging up front, right? Like you're not worried about that. It's Trevor. Dude knows what he's doing, right? Like it's a cool collection. But there's so many like small ones that come out just all throughout the day. Just pay attention. That very quick flip trading strategy is a legitimate trading strategy, and some people are really good at it, but most people are not, right? Um, if you get something that is like super overhyped and it's an NFT or ordinal project and it's being backed by VCs, unless you are prepared to like really, unless they're building some really cool stuff, like actual things that have real function. I mean, everyone can kind of look at Bored Ape Yacht Club to see what's going on with that collection, have a good idea. That was very VC heavy. If you like, if you get in on that, awesome. Get in low, right? Don't limit yourself from other good opportunities. Most people at a price point that's affordable, it's just better to get into a solid collection that already exists. And there's some very solid ordinal collections out there right now, not just the rocks, not just honey badgers. There's some cool ones. And make sure you vibe with the community. Make sure you kind of understand what's going on. If you're a degen, is it a bunch of degens? If you're a builder, is it a bunch of builders? But yeah, you want ordinal exposure, and if you're like-minded, we'd absolutely love to have you in our Noderocks community, 100%.
Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah. Um, no, I was just thinking, but I did lose my train of thought, man.
No, it
What are you
happens. We've
what are you smoking today?
Huh? Oh, dude, I'm just saying my indica cart. Not gonna lie. Yeah. So there's that.
How about Zero? Zero, what's up?
Oh, I
Zero.
did want. Oh, real
There we
quick.
go, Zero.
Yeah,
No,
there we
Zero,
go.
man,
Hold
come
on,
on up.
Zero. 1 second. I did want to give a quick shout out to Nat in the audience. He hosts a show on our on our Twitter account here, X account, whatever you want to call it. Every other Monday, it's the Web Free Music and Poetry Show, and he talks music, poetry, art, Bitcoin, decentralization. Like it's a really great show. I help him host it every week, every other Monday, and falls around the same time frame. So if you get a chance, give him a follow and make sure you check that out. It's honestly a really cool, chill space. Big shout out to him down there, for real. All right, go ahead, Zero. What's up?
What's up? Good morning, good afternoon, Good evening. So I thought, you know what? I wasn't going to say anything today. I was just going to let talk. I was going to vibe with everyone here. Obviously, I see a lot of familiar faces. So that was actually a sample from none other than Peace Love Music, who's here today. We collaborated because I said, you know what, we need a new theme song for Zero Authority because some things are coming down the pipe that is going to excite a lot of people. And he was like, you know what, I'll create something for you. And because we met through Zero Authority, obviously he's in the gig marketplace, and I was like, dude, I'm going to throw you some your way. He's like, no, don't worry about it. And I was like, no, you don't worry about it. That's why we built this thing. And I never thought in a million years that we would even get a really cool new theme song by someone who actually does some music. So shout out to Peace Love BTC. That Peace Love Music. That was, man. That just kind of blew me away. That we can all work together in a trustless, permissionless way. And the name Zero Authority, it really means something. And when Jack was saying he kind of had, I think growing up and you kind of learn about the internet and you kind of come to Web3, there's still this, and maybe some younger people don't have this mindset, but sometimes we seek validation. We seek that we need some permission to do something. Web3 isn't about that at all. You see a problem, you can start working on it. I've I heard one of the best quotes I've ever heard about what NFTs are. NFTs are a store of cultural value, preserving the essence of proof of culture. When sometimes I go back on YouTube and I look at clips from 1994, 1995 of the Today Show where it's like, what is this internet fad? It's going to be a fad. People aren't going to use the internet. What is it? And sometimes when I don't understand something, that clip plays in my mind where I'm like, you know what, I don't know about ordinals. Or I was just talking to Diego and Bowtied Sir Jonathan the last couple of days, and Diego was saying, like, at Bitflow they're trying to do some innovative things and think about, like, what are they going to do with BRC20s? What are they going to do with atomicals? What are they going to do with ordinals? What are they going to do with BitVM? And I don't. I'm gonna have my second kid here soon, and obviously I work a day job too, and I'm trying to do all the other things.
Wait,
With
hold up. You know how that happens, right? Like you just had one. You're familiar with the process, right? Like I mean, I got six of them, so I'm an expert. I can tell you for sure
well,
how that happens.
it definitely wasn't an accident, brother.
Congratulations, man. That's so awesome.
Oh man. But yeah, I'm sometimes I think too, I'll sit back and I'll think, man, am I late to something? And then I just have to remind myself, Stacks is like the early version of Ethereum. I still remember when Megapont clogged up the network and this thing was unusable. We still have those moments. For people who remember, I remember when Crypto Kitties was big, and at the time it clogged the Ethereum network. The couple of days where the network was so clogged, no transactions went through. So you got to
Yeah,
give
I
yourself
remember that.
time, give yourself some patience, man. But yeah, I'm super bullish. We've been running this pilot test with Hero Gamer, and shout out to Hero Gamer, man. You're a real trooper, brother. Because you could have said, I'm gonna call it quits at any time. But and a shout out to all of you guys, Stacks London and Atlas and Jack, and I see Mr. Wagme joined. Peace Love Music. I see Yetta joined. I see Pablito down there. Like really cool, really cool. Oh, Trippin' Monkeys here too. So another thing, when we started the whole idea of Zero Authority to allow people to connect permissionless and trustless, I never thought in a million years that we would fast forward 2 years. And me and Huddle, we jumped on a call with Trippin' Monkey. And I'm not going to say much about what he may or may not be building, but we have some APIs on the back end where you can take your decentralized reputation and put it in different systems and protocols. He had shown us a mock-up of just taking the API and doing some really cool things with this concept of decentralized reputation that's on chain. And I always thought, people we hold this thesis that one, people will want to own their own data, and two, people will want to earn their credibility. A lot of systems that have tried to do like different levels of reputation, they've done it like Trajan, where there's like social endorsements. The way we felt we should always go about it, we always thought people want to collaborate and work together, and that's one way to build trust in a trustless world. That's one way to build credibility. And now that we're here, and we have some changes coming to the platforms too, so we could see all of this. But people are connecting in different ways that I never thought people would connect. And when we started this, and we've seen the growth. Like I remember Jack, I remember you coming into Stacks and saying, "I'm just here to learn." And then fast forward a couple of years now, and you're leading Noderocks, and you're leading. You are one of the top writers on Cycle. I think I don't want to take this lightly, but I feel like you've reinvigorated the need for Web3 blogging and being able to own your content, and that's so cool to see, man.
100%, dude. Crypto journalism sucks, like by and large. Like it's awful. And I wish I had more time, because like you see now, and all of the influencers and everything just coming to the Bitcoin meta, just coming to the Stacks, just coming to the dude. We've been talking about this for years. Like
Years.
so many people never had access to it, because if some influencer is not talking about it, the crypto media don't pick up on it. So like I'd really love for like that torch to be passed. Where like, yeah, look, you could do this. It's super valuable to the community. It's super valuable for your own personal network. And it's like it's valuable to the builders. And it's valuable to retail consumers. Like people can go back and look at stuff I wrote a year ago and learn about, like, how many people know Satoshiables in Brushstar was responsible for the ordinals bot, right? Like how many people know that? Like we knew that was going to be legit the second Brushstar started working on it, right? But so yeah, I'd love to see more crypto media, and more people just writing, and writing on a platform that you own your data. Um, if I had my druthers, it'd be the only thing I do. And we'll see how successful I am in this bull market, because if that's all I do, you'll see a lot of that. But that's that's
No,
where my
no, for
passion's
sure.
at.
That's another one of our thesis too. We don't feel like a lot of protocols are prioritizing building on top of the layers and with other Lego blocks. So that's why, even though our site's still at the beginning of like the first version, we said we worked with Cycle, and we said we're going to pull in this stuff so we could show, so people could show all of the cool written content that they've done on Web3. Another thing we want to do is work with Console DAO, and I know Mr. Wagme has a really cool group on Console. So if you guys go to his profile, you can get the link to his Console chat group, and he started Block 9, and really cool. But like there's so many ways where we can start to build on top of these Lego blocks, and I get it. We all kind of want to build what we're building and then have people come and join us. Like something we think about too. So with this pilot test that we're doing with Hero Gamer, and the decentralized grants, this is a way. A lot of other chains and communities have tried D grants, and probably the best example is Gitcoin. They do a really good job with grants, but then there are a lot of other foundations that have tried it, and then it didn't work out. So they pretty much centralized the grant process. Stacks is one of, I do believe, because we are all Bitcoiners at heart, the way we go about creating and designing protocols, we do want decentralization to be there. So that methodology of like, I want decentralization, you could see it in D grants and what Hero Gamer's pushing. He early on he established that there's going to be stewards. I mean, it could have been easy to say, I'm going to be the kingmaker here, and you guys have to kiss my ring and go through me, but he never did that. And I give him a ton of credit, because it's so easy to hold on to power, and it's so easy to try to influence others with that power, but he's never done that, and I have so much respect for that, and that's one of the reasons why we believe that these decentralized groups coming together, whether it's Noderocks, whether it's Stacks London, whether it's there was a new new account that spun up for Bitcoin builders, and I know what's his name, Sam. He's a part of that. I know Trippin' Monkey has been a part of that. Nieta and Good Kitty, they have their own Twitter Spaces that they bring people who are in the art world. I mean, this lattice structure of this decentralized community, it really is a special place. And I was pretty fortunate. Me and Huddle, we're at the heart of a lot of conversations. We were working with the first cohorts and second cohorts and the accelerators. There were a lot of Web2 companies, especially during the bull run, who came in and pretty much they tried to bolt on Web3. The ones who stuck around are true Web3 natives, and that was a really important lesson for me, because we're total Web3 natives, meaning we had no product. We just had a community where we all believed in each other, and that we could all call on each other to help each other learn and do more and participate in this Web3 world. And so the Web2 companies that come into it from a Web2 perspective, and they don't build this community where they can ask questions, where they can get people to participate. We'll still see that where there's going to be the Googles and the Apples and the AWS, the Amazons that come into this world, and there's going to be a lot of headlines like, oh, Walmart launched their NFT collection, F1 is doing their NFT in ordinals. But unless they actually truly curate and cultivate a community of people who believe in open source, decentralization, trustless, permissionless, they're just here because they're here for the grift. And I hate to say that, but I don't even think they mean to be grifters, just here to make a buck. But if you're not building a community and you're not cultivating that and watering it and watching people grow, you're just going to be here for the short term. And so I had a lot of lessons. I mean, I got hacked last year. So if you haven't got hacked, if you haven't been a part of Rug, you're not a part of Web yet. So I say that, but obviously I'll protect yourselves. And the funny story with that whole Bacchus, there was some funny memes that came out of that, because so Mark of Megapont, his handle is MRK. So then Bacchus said he worked with Wark, WRK. And they were,
Hey,
who the fuck is this guy, man? This guy's telling some tall tales, brother.
I
But
own I own a
I don't know if you guys
ridiculous
remember that. It was hilarious.
yeah, I own
It
a
wasn't funny
ridiculous
how he
amount.
rugged people, but it was. I mean, the stories from the bull run. A lot of you guys don't remember, but I forget the kid's name. Who was doing the city coin mining? Do you remember his name?
No.
Okay, so there was this 16-year-old kid, and he started doing a decentralized mining pool with city coins for Miami. They didn't have any contracts. They didn't have any decentralized pools yet. All he said was send some stacks to this wallet address. This wallet address got up to 1 million stacks, not $1 million, 1 million stacks. So at the
Good
time,
grief.
that was more than like $2 million. This 16-year-old kid had over $2 million worth of stacks. So I mean, we're so early to this stuff. It's not even funny.
I'm bringing Minatories back, man. I'm doing it. I don't care what I have to do.
We
bring
never
bring
left.
back
Oh man.
send minnows, hashtag.
Yeah, no, that's awesome, man. It's so much fun to be here. Just watching all this happen in real time. Bull markets are a blast. It's about to be a whole lot of fun.
Zero,
It is, man.
one of the other ones I thought was pretty cool. I think I started in the community 2-3 years ago, and I'm pretty sure this collection launched like well in advance of my arrival. But the Bitcoin birds on Stacks, and I think his name is Abraham, kid that's fascinated with the outdoors and birds, and takes photographs of birds and stuff like that. And he's like one of the highest grossing collections. I still see him post every now and then, but yeah, that's super sweet hearing his story and the success of that.
So that was a really cool story, and I actually forgot about them. The story about the Bitcoin birds. I mean, at one point, it was the monthly and weekly trade volume on the birds was insane. It was higher than Megaponts at different weeks where they were competing back and forth. The story is amazing. The kid, his name is Abraham, and his dad helped him do the pixel artwork for the birds. And I think there were only, I want to say 40 or 50 of them. And it was cool because the story was he took all of the funds, whatever he minted for, he minted out, and then he used the funds for a bird sanctuary. And then I think later on he tried to create one for turtles and use it. But then another story of people using NFTs for good was where this is where we all met Diego, because he created city packs, which were backpacks, and it was NFT art, and all of the proceeds went to help kids in Miami-Dade and get them school supplies. So, I mean, those two stories of like, this is cultural value. This is a store of cultural value, and this is proof of culture. And I mean, there's no other way in Web 2 where you could do that. And I mean, yes, there's some element of trust in that and involved, but it still is on chain, right? That's why the Noderocks came back, because it's on chain. I could see that whoever owns this, that's verifiable proof that you own this and you're part of this community. I There's just so many elements in Web3 where it couldn't happen in Web 2, and it's amazing.
Yeah, it's a little bit different in the traditional world where very high profile people, they have their charity organizations go do their speeches for $5 or $10 million, and magically other things happen, So, that corrupt world.
I just would have no problem with taxes if I could pay my taxes in Bitcoin and see where it all goes, right? So I'm pretty sure once Bitcoin is the standard, that's when you're going to see like the flat tax on consumption come into play, because no one really wants all of that visibility on where their tax money's going in a Western world, at least.
That would be so awesome to know how they're spending all that.
Yeah,
so
man.
I wanted to give a shout out to Stacks London. I mean, you guys have been cranking and grinding. I met you guys a couple years ago, and I know Atlas and I forget Carl, and there's a couple other folks. But I mean,
Doc.
you guys been grinding, man. Shout
Yeah,
out to you
Doc,
guys
man.
for that, man.
And what's so cool about Stacks London is they're kind of like the prototype. They're bringing the digital and physical together. And literally, history will view them as being one of the very first to do that.
Well, that's for FTCC. Where'd Atlas go? He just bailed. His phone might have died. Uh, but
Well,
yeah,
even
so
what y'all are
that's
doing
for a
now with the
completely different
educating and
project. Here's what had happened with that, man. And so we started working on NFTCC when we were coming into Stacks. We were kind of looking at where we should build this on, and of course, Gold. He's Atlas. There he is. He's he's a Bitcoiner through and through. So he told me when he wanted my help on the project, he's like, "Hey, we're gonna be doing this on Bitcoin." I'm like, "What? Nah." And he explained me what Stacks was, and he brought me into Stacks essentially. And NFTCC, we're close. We're close. Um, Running a couple obstacles. We're still working through it, but we essentially had put that aside for a little bit, working on Stacks London more to bring more awareness to Stacks overall, because at the time when we were working on this, there just wasn't enough people using Stacks. You know what I mean? In that way, to it would make sense. So we came up with the idea of Stacks London, and we kind of just been going through there. We're working on just helping build the community essentially before we even fully finish our product and release it. Like the whole initial reason we're here. So it's an interesting story for sure. But we're here and we're still building in many ways.
well, man, I wanted to thank you for letting me come on and talk. Y'all know how much I enjoy talking crypto with you guys. Um, you all solid, friends. There's people in this chat right now that I consider honest to God friends. I do have to hop off real quick. Look, Badgers are cooking something, man. I got another call to go get on here shortly, but
All
I'm
right,
gonna.
man. Well, this
But yeah,
space is dedicated to you, so we're gonna call that a wrap then.
all right, y'all. Thank you so much for having me, and it was so cool. Y'all just come check out the Noderocks. You go to my website; it's linked in my profile. If you want to read about any of the stuff I've written about Stacks in the past, couple of years, a lot of it's super relevant, and right now especially. So, yeah, thanks, and I'll catch up with you all later.
All right, sounds good. And real quick, before everyone leaves, make sure to join us Monday for another Stacks and Chill space, and then following Monday, Nat and I will have us, and then the Thursday after that, we're gonna do a long haul with Zero. Thank you all for coming on. Big thank you for X Hero. Thanks, Mr. Wagner, Zero. Everyone came up to speak. Everyone for joining. You guys have a good night. That's a wrap.